Hello and welcome back into another episode of the Grunge Bible Podcast. We are coming to you for episode number 194. My name is Chris Salona and I am here with Ethan Shalloway. Ethan, how are we doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, man. For some reason, that hello and welcome, I felt like I was tuning into the news, the 6 o'clock news. It was like, breaking news, hello and welcome. This is W695, you know. Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing really well. We're back in Alabama. I'm back in my setup. If you guys are listening, you guys
Feels
know
good.
that I have my beautiful microphone here again. And yeah, I'm in a good spot. It is Thursday, we're recording, and we have a very special episode, a special guest. And everybody sees the title. So we had Noah Weiland on.
Yeah, that's our
today.
Breaking news. So like, in a way,
That's
like we were
breaking
news
news.
anchors. Breaking news.
Yeah.
We've got Noah Weiland on the podcast today. Many of you would probably know him as the son of Scott Weiland, but we were able to connect with Noah just earlier this week. He's got a new track out called Limbo that I'm sure we're going to feature in this episode.
Our intro.
It was the intro.
They
You've already heard part of it, so that's what it is. That's Noah Weiland's newest track, Limbo. And we were able to connect with him earlier this week, chatted a little bit, and he agreed to come on the podcast for this week's episode, which is super, super cool. Noah's just a really, really good dude, really talented musician. And this is one of those, sometimes, you know, we've done this podcast for a lot of weeks now, and
I know what you're about to say.
Some things just kind of happen, and this is one that just happened. Why? What did you think I was going to say?
I was going to say, I know we complain about the podcast all the time, but not this time. This one was a joy. This was like, I was so excited to do it. Obviously, I mean, I am every week if you're listening out there, obviously, but yeah, we last week we took the opportunity to talk about Scott, and then Noah reached out without even listening to the podcast. Pure coincidence, and it just like me and Chris were just shocked. If you listen to the last week's episode, if you haven't, go back and listen to it. And then he reached out, and it was just like a no-brainer. We got to ask and see if he wants to come on. And I can speak for both of us pretty confidently that Noah is awesome, just a great, down to earth, so just a gentle spirit, and it was really a pleasure to have him on.
Yeah, it really, really was, and definitely looking forward to playing this interview for everybody here in a bit. But before we do that, we do have some people that we need to thank. And Ethan, we get to ring the bell again, once again today. We have a new member of the Patreon checking in at the $2 level. I would like to welcome Darren Peterson to the fold here in the Patreon gang. So Darren Peterson has made the jump, and he's decided to support the Grunge Bible Podcast so we can continue to have some kick-ass interviews with artists old and new, and really, really great people like Noah Weiland. So thank you, Darren. I believe I reached out to you via your Instagram because we've got a standing tradition here that if you join the Patreon, you get to request an episode, and we will get to it in time. So Darren, please reach back out to us because we want to do an episode about whatever it is that you would like. So thanks again. And I would also like to thank the members of our top tier on Patreon who give us $10 per month to help this podcast continue to go and grow. And those individuals at this time are Kara K, Black Hole Sean, D-Boat, Doug ND, Down the Hole, Flat Out Fucked, Apona, Eddie Vedder got me through my second divorce, Gochu John, Jade Mercado, Jamie Lynn, Carleen Salona, Keith White, King Buzzo Stole My Hair, The Michael Dooley Project, Millie, Nikki Six, Pile of Punk, Russell, Seattle 4 Fanboy from New Jersey, Sherry Matthews, What the Fuck is Up Denny's, and Abraham is the cutest basset hound ever. So thank you one and all for your continued support.
Yeah, and usually this is a time where we ask everybody to, this time of the year would be give us a gift for the Christmas season, but I'm going to say the gift this time, if you are listening, rather than become a supporter, you still can, but I want you to follow Noah on social media and follow his Spotify because that would be a great gift, and we want to support him because we love his story, we love the music he's doing, and if nothing else, Chris, this is a platform where we get to talk about new artists that we enjoy and just good people, and everybody that we've interviewed has been a joy. We haven't had a bad interview yet, which is really great.
No, we really haven't. I'm interested.
We've been killing it.
I'm interested if it's ever going to happen and whether it's going to be our fault or it'd probably be our fault, I would think. But We're like, I mean, we've done a few of these at this point, and yeah, we're just a couple chill guys.
I think we're pretty welcoming.
Yeah, I would hope so. Seemingly, we have been so far.
Okay, so yeah, we've done our thanks. We are going to talk a few things this day in music. There's actually kind of a bunch of random stuff and some fun stuff, but the meat of the episode is yet to come, so we're going to keep it short. So let's do birthdays. The main one. Well, we'll do two of them, I guess. In 1969, Jacob Dylan, son of Bob, singer of the Wallflowers, was born. So happy birthday, Jacob, or is it Jakob?
I think it's Jacob. I don't think
it's with a K. So
yeah, you never can tell. I'm pretty sure it's Jacob. Wallflowers are great. That album that has like 6th Avenue Heartache and One Headlight and Three Marlenas is a 90s nostalgia bomb, and it's great music. So happy birthday to Jacob Dylan.
And then on 1972, December 9th, Frank Wright III was born. And if you don't recognize that name, maybe you'll recognize the stage name. Trey Cool, drummer of Green Day, who we talked about in this episode, and we were big Green Day guys growing up. So happy birthday, Trey Cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, coming up, we just have 3 chill guys talking about Green Day. So
yeah.
I do have to say, I know we talked about it in the episode a little bit, but we tend to have people that are older than us on the podcast. Yeah. And it was great to have somebody who's kind of, right around our age and growing up playing rock band. And, every friend group had the rock band house where you'd go and play and get exposed to some cool music. And Green Day was in no short supply back in those days. So, and what a great stage name, man. Trey Cool. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I saw a meme that was, it was, Guitar Hero was first. And I remember this specifically, playing Guitar Hero in the basement. And it's like when you're sweating out medium through the fire and flames as your parents are trying to survive the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah, man, the housing crisis. Dude. Yeah.
You're up there trying to keep up.
And here's the thing, whether you were the parents in the house or whether you were the kid playing Rock Band, the stress level was the same.
You were going through it.
Oh man, that may be autobiographical for me, but nevertheless, Ethan, I think we're gonna spare everybody all of the Elvis and the Beatles and all of those.
I really wanted to say
week.
The Elvis one, but maybe next week.
Should I do it real quick?
Yeah, do it real quick.
Right, we'll speed run this. So on this day in 2005, December 9th of 2005, a man was charged with stealing more than $300,000 of Elvis Presley's jewelry from something that was called the Elvis Arama Museum that was on exhibition in a Las Vegas resort. A 30-year-old named Eliab Aguilar was arrested on November 3rd, so a month prior to his charging with the crime, after police said that he approached a retired Elvis impersonator and offered to sell him several items, including Elvis Presley's 1953 class ring from his high school, which was valued at $32,000. Additionally, a 41-carat ruby and diamond ring worth $77,000 was a part of the heist. And finally, a possession that everybody needs in their own personal collection, a gold-plated Smith & Wesson 38 Special revolver. So he didn't get away with the crime, but here we can talk about it 19 years later. I'm going to have to check in to see what type of sentence Mr. Aguilar received for this heist.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the gold-plated Smith & Wesson. That's really good.
It's a household essential, apparently.
The other This Day in Music I wanted to shout at, in 1988, according to a poll released in the U.S., the music of Neil Diamond was favored as the best background music for sex. Beethoven was second.
I didn't see this one until now.
Yeah, I figured you hadn't seen it because this is a must read. So Neil Diamond was number 1 for background music for sex. Beethoven, he beat out Beethoven for the second choice, and Luther Vandross was voted third. So Neil Diamond,
Neil Diamond, like, okay, we got to talk about the fact that Beethoven came in second, because that is unbelievable. I have to imagine that this list has changed, but perhaps I think
it's the same, Chris.
But like, here you are, like in December 2024, like if you're looking to set the mood with that special someone, throw on some Neil Diamond, like throw on some of his hits, and just see what fireworks may explode that evening, because you are in for a special night. Your date may leave, or it may be the best night of your life. It's all on the table if you just drop the needle and play some Neil Diamond. So that is unbelievable. What a day in music history.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other really funny ones, but alas, we have something more important. So, without further ado, this is our interview with Noah Weiland.
Somewhere out there, stuck in limbo, just another nightmare, sending signals, stuck in limbo.
Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, the people out there, they missed the best intro. We talked about Zen for about 10 minutes, but we are joined by Noah Weiland today, and this is really a treat for Chris and I. It kind of happened really organically, really randomly. I think it was Monday morning, or maybe it was Sunday night. No, I think it was Monday, because we had just released the podcast, last week's episode, where we kind of talked about Scott a little bit, and out of the blue, you reached out, and you reached out to one of the personal accounts, not to the page, which I don't know if that was a strategy or what, which is good because we get a ton of messages, so we probably would have missed it. I mean, it just happens. Probably would have saw it. I don't know. Chris would have caught it, but it was so random, and you had some new music coming out, and I was just like, oh, this is, you just commented on one of the old pictures, and I checked it, and sure enough, like Chris Cafaro follows you and Ali Hagendorf, and I was like, all right, this is definitely Noah. This is cool.
Yeah.
And so shot you back a message, and then started chatting, and I was like, dude, I don't know how we don't ask you to come on the podcast, see if he's down. And sure enough, you were like, hell yeah, let's do it. And we're so happy to have you here. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I feel very welcomed. Thank you.
Good, cool. Yeah, so we'll just kind of talk. I mean, you have the new song Limbo that came out. It came out, I think, on Spotify. Did it come out on Sunday? And then it came out on YouTube a little bit 2 days later or something?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Third?
Actually, well, I'm not sure 100% because the distributor that I use, so it was very sporadic move and very last minute and just rushed kind of. But I wanted it to be, because the song is originally half, in a way it's half a tribute to my friend Gio, who passed away in the beginning of this year. And he was my best friend, brother damn near. And then, but also the other half of it was kind of a paying homage to my father, because, can I go on about it, or did you want to say something? I don't want to overtalk.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. So, yeah, no, this is your spot. Yep.
Okay. So the other half was paying homage to my father because of how it sounded sonically compared at least to my other music that I've been making the past few years. Cause I mostly listen, I might ramble or yap a little bit, so apologies if I do, but I mostly listen to rap, pop, and a little alternative, here and there. But I decided to switch it up because I saw there was a podcast of these older dudes, and they were basically just shitting on me for oh, am I allowed to swear or no? I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude, anything
Chris
you
swears
got.
every week.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so these guys were just shitting on me like crazy, and it was saying how I was destroying my father's legacy basically by the type of music I was releasing and all this stuff, and basically saying how untalented and just different I was and my dad, which is okay, different, untalented, that's you can think what you want because I don't make a certain type of music and that's all you listen to. But different, of course I'm different. I'm not my dad, you know what I mean? I definitely am a lot like him, as a human being, not even to be trying to say anything weird or anything like that, but everyone always compares the two of us a lot, and I can just kind of sense it and feel it when I do stuff that's like him in a way. I don't know how to explain it. And that song, the night I saw that podcast, I got super pissed off. I'm what the hell are these old heads talking about? Why are they shitting on me for? And they're going through my Instagram, going through my articles that have been written about me in the past, songs, YouTube, everything, just ripping me apart. And I was I'm gonna try making a rock song again, because I was like, when I first came out, started making music in 2020. I was like making like hard rock, punk stuff like that. But honestly, it just got too easy and not challenging enough for me, because like, not to say it's not hard to make that kind of music, but it just came second nature to me, I guess. So I like started making other types of music that I listened to more myself. And I kind of just got in a rabbit hole of it and just got way better at that. So that night I was like, I'll try making like rock or grunge or some like shoegaze type of stuff, like just something different that I've been not doing. And basically, I made like 3 songs that night in my car with the Apple earbuds, like I was saying before. And Limbo is one of them. And I didn't realize how good it was at first until everyone was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you not making this type of music? Like, this is just crazy. And I was like, really? And then it started like growing on me. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to see the vision now. And I think this is like, honestly, the move. Like, it just feels like I'm going back to my roots, like what I like grew up around, and like what I always listened to as a kid, and what just feels right. And so I basically, in like the span of a week, was, at first I was going to drop it with the band, and I was going to have a band together, like put a band together. But everyone was like all on different pages and different schedules. And I was like really trying to rush the song out for the December 3rd, which is the anniversary of my dad's passing. And basically I was like, got a hold of my friend Ty to like add his spice to it. And then my friend AJ to mix and master it, make it sound better, because it was recorded from earbuds. And yeah, basically I was like rushing them. I was like, low key, like, if you guys can't be a part of it, it's all good, but I just got to get this out by December 3rd, meaning it has to be uploaded 2 days prior. Sorry for rambling, but basically that's why it might have showed up as December 1st or something like that. And because I like put it in to upload it like right away, but I knew it would take time. So that's kind of like how it came along. Yes. Sorry.
No, that's perfect. So this one was recorded with the earbuds too.
Yes. Yeah.
Dang.
That's unreal. And it's so interesting too, Noah, like, with how young you are, like how many different areas of music and different genres you've been able to explore. And I have to imagine, like, that many different styles of music, you have so many different inspirations, like the more well-rounded you can be with like what you attempt to create musically, like I'm sure, that develops like your confidence in knowing like, hey, like when I lay something down, like when I'm trying to write this type of song, like I know like this is good because I've been in all those different areas. So it's so interesting just to kind of see like how many different areas you've inhabited, and like the confidence that I can tell you approached this one with. And just kind of, putting it out into the world is a beautiful tribute to your dad and your friend. And then I know when you released it, you kind of exclaimed that today marks the beginning of who Noah Weiland is as an artist. And like, what was that process like to kind of find your niche and like find where you're most comfortable creatively?
Yeah. Like I was saying, just, I don't know. I feel like, like the past few years I've been doing like a lot of pop punk, a little like emo rap kind of mixed in, pop music, a little indie music kind of here and there, like a mix of like all that kind of stuff together. But when I started making these new songs, like I have a bunch already of like the same kind of like vibe as Limbo, and then some that are more rock and not less grungy. Like I have a bunch already. I don't know. It just felt comfortable. And like, I mean, I recorded, my rap songs and like pop punk, all that kind of stuff, like indie, whatever, like usually I make those songs in 2 hours max, like record them all, like no lyrics written down. I just freestyle off the top of my head and punch in as I go along. Limbo though, I did in like under 45 minutes. Wow. And I think that was when I was like, dang, okay, maybe everyone has a point. Because if I made my best song in like 30, 45 minutes, then off the top of my head, basically I just heard the melody like right away. jot down the melody to the whole song like in one take, and then I go back and add lyrics in each like line basically. I don't know, it just felt natural, and it felt like I was like back to where I should be musically. So like I definitely want to keep going down, exploring more rock music, punk rock, grunge, shoegaze, little indie still too, all alternative, like just a mix of all of it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're still pretty young in how many the songs that you have like released, so you can go wherever you want to go. And even still, when you release, I mean, you see artists change a lot. We talk about your father's music, and he was one of the best about changing genres. And he would have awesome rock and roll, then he would awesome jazz, and then he would have like he would infuse all these genres. And you definitely have that same talent where you can do a bunch. I wrote down, did you listen to a lot of like A Day to Remember, Silverstein, or like Pierce the Veil? Did you listen to any of those like 2010s rock, like hard rock and whatnot?
Pierce the Veil a tiny bit, but I'm going to be honest, and I hope I don't sound like a complete poser saying this, but I actually don't know a lot of bands.
Okay.
Like I like, not that I don't like that kind of music at all, but like over the years, I just kind of like went off exploring like I was saying, like rap and like pop music a lot. So I feel like that's where I come up with a lot of my melodies, but like I apply it to like grunge or rock and stuff like that, and like do my own twist to it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. But yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, as an artist, that's almost, I would say that's a really, really big asset, because you don't really have like a preconceived notion of like, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be, or like if I want to make this specific type of song, like, you know, this is the structure that I need to follow, or like the melody needs to sound something like this, like, you know, the instruments need to be something like this. You know, so it's such a perfect card that you have in your deck, where it's like, hey, I'm just going in places that are interesting and inspiring to me. And that's super, super cool. Something that you mentioned about the genesis of the song Limbo is something that I'm sure you've probably had to deal with ever since you decided to start making music and releasing it. And I would imagine that, you know, when you release something as Noah Weiland, so many people have a preconceived notion about you know, what the music should sound like, or what you should sound like. Has that been something that's probably been difficult to deal with as you kind of got started as a musician? And how do you deal with that? Is that just something that you're like, hey, like, I don't care, like, I need to do my own thing? Or is that something that kind of affected you a little bit in the beginning when you started making music?
Well, it definitely did. And like, I think that's partially why I strayed further and further away from making rock, because when I make that type of music, I just naturally sound similar to my dad, which now getting older, like I finally realize isn't a bad thing. But when I first made like those 3 songs that night, like the rock and grunge ones, I was like, it was almost like a fuck you to like the people who thought I wasn't talented just because I don't have that type of sound in my voice, the same as my dad. So when I recorded it, I was like, you know, actually there was a video that popped up and it had a clip of Sour Girl music video in it. Like it was like a YouTube short. It was like right after I saw that, and I was like, hold on. And that was actually kind of like, that song was like, it doesn't sound like the same, but like it was kind of my inspiration behind Limbo, like the aura behind it, and like just the atmosphere of the song. I was like, I need to find something that I can make that has that same atmosphere of like almost spooky, you know, like eerie kind of, but like a little sexy too, you know, whatever, like something like that. And like, obviously it doesn't sound like the same song, but like it brings that energy, I feel like, you know. But yeah, no, definitely it bothered me in the beginning. And that's why I was like, I heard like a snippet of Sour Girl. Like, obviously I know the song, but like it popped up in a YouTube short. And I was like, I want to capture that vibe. And I kind of did in my own way, I feel like. And I feel like it turned out good. But yeah, now I definitely don't care about people saying I sound like him. I actually think it's a good thing, because I've learned over time that my dad wasn't necessarily a bad father. Like a lot of people, I'm not going to like throw people under the bus, but like a lot of people close to me would always say how terrible of a father he was, like throughout my whole life, and like how he shouldn't have done this or that, and he should have done this, that. but he tried his best, you know, and like now that I'm a father, I completely like, I get it. And especially when I became an addict too, like I understood it even more, like the struggle, you know? So I don't blame him, and I definitely am a lot closer to him now spiritually.
Yeah, I think I saw that quote, and you said like after your struggles and coming out on the other side, you were like, you know, it really cleared things up. That, you know, you said it cleared some things up and some feelings you had about your father, and you really don't hold anything against you. And I really admire that, and I love that. And you know, now that you were able to overcome it, like, you know, how would you describe that? You know, I guess that moment where you're just like, you know what, like you were able to, you know, I guess forgive and kind of like, because I feel like that really jump started like the music and how you were able to kind of move into the what you're doing right now, which is, you know, just you probably feel free, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I feel like, you know, I don't know, that he'd just be proud. And
yeah, 100%.
Thank you. Yeah, and like I just feel like you know, like a lot of people counted him out, especially towards the end of his career, and like even when he passed, they tried to like, you know, I mean, so many people call him a legend and stuff like that, and like say how like amazing he was, but then there's like other people who just tried to play him off like he was a junkie, and like, oh well, you know what I mean, like don't glorify him, like or whatever the case may be. And it's like, okay, great, but like you can't like he did a lot of good things, right? And made a lot of great music. So like, I'm not gonna like pretend like he didn't. And I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I don't know, he deserves the credit. And like, I feel like the same way how Deftones is having like a resurgence in the youth right now. And I'm not even that familiar with Deftones either, I'm gonna be honest, but I definitely know like people my age and younger, they all love Deftones now. Partially, in my opinion, is because a lot of rap music samples them. So like people will try to find like, oh, who's the sample or whatever, and then like, not saying that they're not talented on the, but like, you know, I just feel like that caught a lot of their attention at first. But like the same reason how they're having like a resurgence in the youth is kind of how I want to bring like my dad's legacy. So like the younger audience is like, oh wait, who are these guys? Like, who is he? Like, and they see the beauty in it too, and like, you know, and they can connect with it.
Yeah. So, and I think we see that a lot on the page that we run, because we predominantly post stuff from the 90s, including a lot of the work that your dad did. And definitely, I'd say over the last 4 or 5 years, there's a lot of, you know, people younger than us, you know, people who are just getting into high school or maybe even younger that are finding this music and really connecting with it. So, you know, there's a couple things at play there. You know, it speaks to, you know, the staying power of that music that was already created. But I think like the ethos behind it, and just everything that went into it, that still has staying power, and those feelings and those sounds and those vibes, as you were saying, like, you know, they're still important. And I think it's massively important for people such as yourself to, you know, continue to make music, regardless of what other people say, or regardless of what they think, you know, it should or shouldn't sound like. And it's just, it's an important venture, and it's really inspiring, you know, as somebody who was inspired by a lot of that music, to see, you know, the next batch of artists be able to carry it forward. It's such an important thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And
also like, you know, your music is different than your dad's, and that music that you're producing, like you sound a lot like MGK to me, the earlier stuff that you released, and like that's, he's massive, you know, he's massive, and like the shoegaze is coming back, and like the music you're making is in, like rock doesn't have the stranglehold it once did. It's just the reality of it. And exactly what you're saying, when you bring in hints of old stuff and bring it back, like that's what people love. They love like with little bits and pieces, not necessarily go and spend all my time with the Beatles, but like I want to hear it inspired by the Beatles.
Right.
And like, so when you're making new music that's current now, because that's what people are listening to, with like that influence, you know, always with you, that's like that's exactly what you need moving forward. You can't try and go and recreate old stuff. I mean, people send us music, I mean, all the time. It's like, we're bringing back grunge, and we're like, no one asked to bring back grunge. You know, it's like no one wants, like, it's not that we don't want it, but like, it's,
Right, yeah.
well, you're going to play a riff that's exactly like, Nevermind, or It Smells Like Teen Spirit and all that. And we have to like, oh, very original,
Yeah.
but like when you do it differently, it's just like, that's what catches people's eyes or ears, and they're able to like refer back to the stuff that they grew up with or they loved. And so that's why, it just makes a ton of sense. And, I think in the interview, you said that, you don't want to blow up overnight, and you're just focused on taking care of business and making a living and, developing a cult following. And that is something that helps you live. And I just love that. We talk about it a lot on this page, about like how we kind of grew up. Our page, that is, it's going to turn 9 in February, and it's been a slow build. I mean, it's never was like me and Chris didn't have this master plan when we started. We just started, and it just grew. And then I throw javelin, and it's professionally, and it's the same thing. Like, I'm not making a career out of it, but it's traveling me to places, and it's allowing me to live a life that I want to live. And it's not like I'm not trying to be like overnight like perfect, because of course I want to be at the top, but like there's so much to gain along the way. And like, so when you saying that, and like, this is going to be, I'm going to do this, and it's going to provide for my family and my life. And like, it's just very admirable. Like, not everybody, you don't need to publicly be like killing yourself trying to be at the top, because music is just so much more than that in a lot of ways. And so I just love that outlook of like, 1% better. And like, yeah, it seems like that's exactly what you're doing.
No,
I answered the question talking to you, but do you feel similar? Like, do you feel similar to that? And like, that's kind of like what you're after, I guess, right now?
Yeah, I do. I also, in a way, like music, I don't know, music is just my life. Like, honestly, I'm like if maybe as cliche as it sounds, but like in every aspect, like music plays a role. Like, not to sound like to belittle myself, but like I genuinely don't think I'm that good at a lot of things in life. I don't know what I'm like really diagnosed with exactly, but like, I mean, not to like get all deep or anything, but like I definitely, it's like how good I am with not to like sound cocky, but like how good I am with music compared to like everything else in life is like drastically different, like than what all the other stuff I'm good at, I feel like. And another thing that I'm after is like, I guess not that it is all this, but I definitely kind of see it. Maybe some people might take this the wrong way, but I see it kind of like a competition too, because I've had a lot of people in my life do me super dirty and like and just do like, just, I don't know, count me out, and as a human being, not just as an artist, but like as a human, and like basically, so in a way, it's like with whether I'm competing with someone who makes music or doesn't, like I'm always trying to like let that drive of like whether it's like resentment or something I have towards someone, or I just got broken up with or something random, or I have like just anything negative that's happened to me, I like let it drive me to make like the best music possible, as like I'll show them type of thing. Does that make any sense? Like,
yeah,
I don't know, like
it really does. And I think like in everybody's life, and from what I understand and what I've read about yours, I mean, like from such a young age, so many of us have to deal with so many difficult things, at a point that, we necessarily were not prepared to deal with. And I don't think at any point, somebody's prepared to deal with, especially in the public eye. And it takes so much strength, I would imagine, to, be able to, take in all of these things that are happening to you, and all of these agendas that people have around you, and maybe people do bad things to you, and choose to harness it in a way that's positive, and in your case, a way that's massively creative and stimulating for you. You said kind of music is your life, and it's a lifeline, and I imagine that's it's got to be a mechanism, I think, to cope with just how challenging life can be at points, and you're able to channel the lessons that you've had to learn into your music. And I think a lot of that comes through with your music, which for the age that you're at is something that's really impressive. I think a lot of people go their whole musical careers without being able to do that. And the fact that you've been able to make that choice and exhibit that strength to do that is something that's really cool. And I definitely get that through your music, which is awesome.
Thank you.
In my personal, my javelin career, because I moved to Alabama. I live here now from Pennsylvania. And I moved out here to chase a dream, trying to make the Olympics. And I definitely have a lot of those feelings where you want to prove people wrong, or, there's a lot of just doubters, hang it up, whatever. But as I get older and I keep doing it, one of the main things that drive me, and you will feel the same way, I think, when I say it, is I just want to prove to my supporters that they were right, in supporting me. And the people that actually back me and that are saying you can do this, I want to prove them right more than I want to prove people wrong every day of the week. That's
good. That's a good way to look at it.
It is. Because if I can succeed, and my family will look at me and just be like, we knew it, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
It's going to be such a good feeling. And so there's a lot of people saying stuff that's going to give you fuel, but I know deep down, for your son and your family and stuff, and the people that support you, it's just going to be we made it. We did it. We knew we could, it was just a matter of doing it, and we freaking did it. So it's just awesome. Kind of talking, I want to know, I do want to kind of know what some of your favorite music is that your dad ever created. Is there a few songs that really stick out? I'm just kind of curious.
It's funny. I was actually just listening to the song, and I haven't in a minute, but the song, it's an STP song called Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Have you heard it? Yeah. That one. It's
yes.
I think it's not, I don't know how big it was in the grand scheme of things, but that song's really good. I like most of Shangri-La-Di-Da. I think that's my favorite STP album. And then definitely Barbarella. That one, that's probably one of my favorite songs by him of all time, because it's almost it reminds me of what's it called? It kind of reminds me of drums. The drums in it, the program drums, sound like something old Kanye West would use, almost in a way, but it's not at all like that type of song, and I doubt my dad listened to Kanye West, to be honest, but but I just think it's because I like that type of music, it's really interesting to see how versatile that, and then 12 Bar Blues, that was what it was on, I think. And that album was actually pretty good. Someone gave me a CD of that album when I was first ever went to rehab. It was actually an ex of mine. but basically, I would play it because I had a CD player in my Mini Cooper. It was an older Mini Cooper at the time. And I played the album, and I was never heard it in its entirety, or as an adult at least. I was damn, I think that overall, or experimentally wise, or I don't know what, would probably be my favorite piece of his work for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, man. That's super.
Those are some good ones, man.
That's super cool. Yeah. And it's interesting because in STP's, discography with your dad, I mean, they got into some really, really experimental stuff, as the years went on, and that stuff is some of the most interesting stuff that I think they did. And as a torch carrier of being experimental and going into areas that the purists would say are, it's sacrilege, or it's an unsafe area, or this isn't what they would want. I mean, it's funny that people, as you said, they're shitting on you for the type of music they make, but it's their own favorite artists did that same thing right under their nose the whole time. And it's it's you don't get it. It's you literally just told me these purists, they're oh, my favorite song is this. Do you realize how experimental and off the beaten path that was at the time? You got to give a little bit of grace to people that are still doing that. If everybody just rehashed everything that's already been done, there wouldn't be anything new interesting to listen to.
Exactly. No, I agree. I not to shit on no one, but I just feel and I have this conversation with one of my friends, Spencer, all the time, that I feel a lot of rock fans are just very stuck on one specific genre. You know what I mean? It's they only like rock, and opposed to not to keep bringing it up, but rap music, it's when an artist gets experimental with rap music, everyone like cheers them on.
It's celebrated, yeah.
And they
That's a
celebrate.
good point.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And like, I don't know, that's something I noticed, something random, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there's this thing where like so many people are so caught up with what to call something that they miss the whole point of that thing. You know, they're trying to categorize it like, oh, well, like this is grunge. Well, no, actually it's alternative, or like, and like, no, who cares? Like just like forget about
enjoy
like,
it or not.
Yeah, forget about what category you're going to find it in on the streaming service, and just like listen to it and see like what sounds you can hear, and just see like what the message in the song is. Like people try to make things like so much more complicated than it needs to be. It's like it's
like
let it
Spotify.
play. Yeah, dude, like Spotify with
pumpkin
all their
spice rock out grunge season when you're an artist like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and Nirvana. I'm like
what is that?
Spice grunge, like the word vomit of a genre.
Yeah.
I was thinking as you said that, back in we had someone on, Scott Crane, and he was talking about the sound of Seattle and how they were on Bainbridge Island making music, and they didn't have a lot of access to. It was during the 80s and in the 90s, and it was just before everything was accessible. And so it's like, if you wanted to learn something, you had to figure it out. You couldn't just watch a YouTube video. And now when people want to do something, they're just like immersed in like music and so many different ways and influences, and they're just learning. And I feel like it puts people in a box. So like when you talked about, not listening to a lot of music, I thought about that, or not knowing bands like so intimately, it keeps your imagination really like thirsty and like looking for stuff. And you see a lot of people who kind of fall into like, oh yeah, this, like, you're trying to sound like the Chili Peppers. Well, mission accomplished,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You sound just like them.
Yeah.
But you're not the Chili Peppers, so it doesn't work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, no, like I think before I made Limbo, like I said, I listened to a little snippet of Sour Girl, but then like before I recorded it, I think I might have been listening to like Little Uzi or something like that, which is obviously not at all what the song sounds like, but somehow, like, because of how colorful the melodies are, I think is like where I got the inspiration for like how the song melodically flows, I guess,
Yeah. So, it's super cool to see that connection there, because I think even just in like discourse amongst music fans, like, having like a vast taste in music is something that I feel like is universally celebrated, where everyone's like, oh, like they have such good taste, like they, they're in so many different genres. But then when an artist attempts, in your case, like succeeds in blending all of those influences, they're like, now, like this is not what it needs to be. But I think like we need more of that, because that's how you innovate. And going back to the Limbo track, like, all of these artists that you've referenced, like I do hear a lot of that throughout it. So it's got to be is that something that's intentional, where it's like, hey, I'm listening to these things, like I want to put these elements together, or is that just something in your case that just kind of happens organically, where afterwards you're like, whoa, like I can see where this all came together?
A little bit of both, honestly. A little bit of both for sure. Like, my favorite all-time artists, bands too, would be like Green Day. That was like, I literally was a Green Day fanatic growing up. Like, I think I played 1,000 hours of Green Day Rock Band as a kid. Like,
that was a good time to be a Green Day fan too. Like the late, like 2008, 2009, 2010, around then.
This episode is coming out on Trey Cool's birthday.
No way.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Frank Wright the Third.
Yeah. But no, Green Day, Kanye West, all the way to like Justin Bieber, or like Tory Lanez, or like, and then I was also crazy on My Chemical Romance, The Killers.
Good.
But as you can see, it's like none of them really have much in common,
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just a mash of little bits from each thing,
Except they're evolutions. I mean, Kanye, I was listening to some early Kanye and just seeing like, I mean, he's just a genius as far as like producing and lyrics, and like, it's just the stuff that he comes out with it's always fresh. And who's the other one? who'd you say it was? It was Green Day, and then you said Kanye, and then
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, Justin Bieber. His genre has changed like a ton.
I know.
And it's awesome. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because he's a mega talent, and it's so cool. Post Malone.
And he's like doing I forgot him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Post Malone is like, I mean, he was a rapper. Like he's a rocker at heart, and now all of a sudden he's got his country voice, and like I'm just so impressed. I love everything that he does because he's just like killing it. So, but like talking about your influences or your interests, it seems like were you really big into Linkin Park or like Incubus?
You know,
they have rap and rock involved, obviously, and I don't know if you do any like screaming tracks, but like you could tell me I'm being completely wrong, but like, man, I could see you doing something killer like that.
No, but you know what's funny is Incubus I'm not too familiar with. Linkin Park, same. But what I do know and like from Linkin Park, I think is dope as hell. You know, I think like I was actually trying to find instrumentals that kind of had that Linkin Park type of vibe. The same week that I made those 3 songs, I feel like I didn't fully dive into that category that much, but I think Chester is like, I don't know like the other bandmates, but I'm like, I know people from Chester's family. And I don't know. I think he's like amazingly talented. I think, I like the direction of it. I don't know too much about their music, but as a band, but I do know that he's pretty dope. He's the man. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's the man. We like to talk about him. Our producer Drew, he was a huge Linkin Park fan. Like we were Linkin Park kids back in 2009 when we were in high school and whatnot, listening to all the good stuff. And
it's funny, Noah, because like typically, like if we ever interview anybody that was like around during the grunge era, like they always tell us like, oh, like you don't know what it was like when Nirvana first became famous, but like people our age, like the 3 of us, like, no, you don't know what it was like when like American Idiot came out and like it rocked the world.
Exactly.
Like the old heads don't know like what this was like and like how big of a deal it was.
Yeah, like I took my friend's CD and downloaded it on my Xbox, Xbox One or not Xbox 360.
Yeah.
The one before the 360, literally just the Xbox.
Just the Xbox. Yeah.
And like you could just listen to the music, but you couldn't play a game. So I would just like turn on my Xbox just to listen to the album in my basement. And it was great.
That's so sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that was like around the era when my buddy Jacob that I grew up with, and he went by a name Hella Sketchy as like he was like his rap and producer name. Unfortunately he also passed away, so RIP to him as well. But he was like super Green Day fan. Like I think he literally stage dived and crowd surfed at one of their shows, and like I think it was like it was when Billy first had the blonde hair era. Like it was 21st Century Breakdown era, that tour. He crowd surfed and stage dived with them, and I thought he was the coolest dude ever. Like, and I was like, wow. Like, and after that point, I was like sold on Green Day. I mean, I liked them American Idiot era too, but like that once 21st Century Breakdown era came, I was like, these guys are insane. Like, I just could not listen to anything else.
Yeah, so there's so many good influences from that point. Like when we were all kids, and like when you're like 8, 9, 10 years old, I feel like that's like where the bedrock is laid of like, hey, like what type of music are you into? So like my question is like, obviously growing up around music and being exposed to all these different things, like when did it click for you, from like, hey, like, I'm a young kid and I really love all this stuff to like, hey, like I want to make music myself. Like how did that process come about for you?
Well, like I said, I was always playing like the game Rock Band. And like, I just loved music ever since I was a little kid. I would I would play my dad's music videos and stand up on the coffee table with my shirt off and like try and like do moves like my dad and like pretend like I was singing this, like lip sync his songs and also sing too.
Yeah.
So I was like a huge fan of my dad's, of course, always. But then I would play like Rock Band. When the first Rock Band came out, I was like addicted to it. I did a lot of drums and singing. I was terrible at the guitar on it. I can't play guitar to save my life, even real guitar. but, but no, Rock Band. I played the Green Day Rock Band and the Beatles Rock Band. Like any Rock Band games or where I played, and I just was like addicted to those games. I just play it like on repeat every day. And then
the golden age.
And yeah, literally. And in high school, I saw a lot of like the popular kids, whatever, like making like rap music and like getting like high school popular off like rap songs they would make. They weren't actually like big, but like they would just make like they'd all just like they'd have like all the popular kids in one like music video, and they'd all have like fake guns and stuff like that, and like they would just be like, and everyone knew them in like my small town that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, like maybe I could get like that too, because I was like a weird kid in high school kind of, and like, and basically I was like trying to make rap at first, and I did it for fun, trying to teach myself. I was on like FL Studio, and I would like find out like how to sound like this rapper, how to sound like this artist, like with the presets or whatever. And I thought like that's all you had to do, and you didn't have to have a voice at first. And eventually over time, like I couldn't sing that good I was a good singer as a little kid. And I was like, everyone always said I was talented, but I don't really understand what they were saying.
Yeah.
Because like, it's not like I was like recording songs, or writing music really.
Right.
But like, once I was like mid high school, I was making rap for fun. And then until a little after high school, I was like getting a little better at it with the melodies, and like my voice started like coming along. And then the song That Summer, actually, I think Ethan, you said it right. Did you like that one, or
which one? Oh, That Summer. Yeah. Oh,
So
I thought you were talking
song,
about that. Like I talked about That Summer that you made.
Oh,
I was
no,
like,
no.
okay,
Summer 2013.
Yeah, I was like, which summer are we talking about? Yeah, That Summer. Yeah, I think that was my favorite.
That song. So that was the first song I made that wasn't just complete full blown auto tune rap for fun. And it was a friend of mine who was like trying to make music with me at the time, and he was like, "Oh, you should try including like kind of like punk or punk rock or kind of stuff into what you're doing now." And I basically just whipped that song up in like an hour and a half, like just like, because I've never written down a song, like jot down lyrics or anything like that. I just always kind of like a freestyle almost. And I did that song, and I was like, wait, hold on, this is like, I think this is the move, because it just came out so good, like first like try kind of, you know what I mean? And then I realized like I started making that music. I got into a band, and which I don't really like getting into much because it was a terrible era.
Yeah.
But like after that, I kind of like got away from rock music again and started doing my own thing. And then now I'm kind of like back at it, like after a while, and I feel like it's off to a good start. So that's kind of how it all came about.
Hell yeah. So looking forward, right?
Yeah.
Are you playing, so do you have a band to play with if you were to want to play live?
Yes,
right?
I do.
Awesome.
And
I played at a band in high school, and we don't have much stuff recorded. We have like one song, but playing live is just one of my favorite things to do. We love going to live concerts. We go to way too many in the last 2 years. So like, I hope to hear that you are wanting to get on stage and play. I know you have in the past, but like, what is it like playing on stage and stuff? And is that in the near future? Or are you going to focus on making music right now?
Making music for sure. Yeah. I want to like just build like a solid fan base, I guess you could say, first before I do any more shows. Not that I have anything against like, I'm judging people who do shows when they're trying to like build a fan base, but like I feel like I've already kind of like dipped my feet in the water with like performing. I've done like a few official shows kind of, but nothing like that felt like it was really like I mean a couple, but like nothing that felt like all the way like this is what it is, you know what I mean? But I definitely have a little experience the last few shows, I haven't even had a full band. It was more just like, because it was kind of going in like a rap pop direction for a while, but definitely now future shows we'll have a full band, no backing track. Cause that's like what I did before. I had like the backing track and then also live instruments too. And, I would just, it was like a mesh of like pop and like a band kind of rap and a band kind of performance. But now it would definitely be full band, fully authentic and like just raw. But I also want to make it different too, not just like a band on stage. I want to make it feel like an atmosphere, like an experience, you know?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. It's so cool to hear like how thought out like this process is going to be, because I have to imagine like over the years, like you've probably had a bunch of people in your ear like, oh no, like you have to do this, and then like, you know, you got to get on stage, you have to do this. Like, has it been challenging to kind of like stick to your guns and like, no, like I want to do it this way, like this is what I'm comfortable with and this is what I know is best for me?
honestly, no. I feel like I always follow my gut and my heart, I guess, or both, whatever you want to say it is. But like whenever, like even like just the release for Limbo, like I I basically like put it together in like about a week from like it being just a rough demo. And I was like, okay, we got to get on this. Like, and I got like Ty on board. I got my friend AJ on board, and we just like banged it out. All of us got the music video done in one night, edited it like basically in the AM hours of the night, had it done by the next morning, uploaded the song like a day and a half before it came out. That was it. So I feel like
That's
I'm
awesome.
always like just very sporadic with things and like throw it out the wall, hope it sticks. And so far this one's doing pretty good. So compared to a lot of other stuff I've done, but I'm definitely the best reaction of a song that I've had yet.
I was about to say, I was on the YouTube and I was like, had like 70 comments and they all were just like, great, you know, say, like really positive and like really liking exactly what you're doing. And I was like, you know, that doesn't happen if it's not.
Seriously,
that just like doesn't happen. And if it's not good, so that's great.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
The only hate comment I did see though, or that I can remember, said, great voice, but your hair is awful. You got to do something about it or something like that. I was like, damn, okay. No, I'm joking. I'm not going to switch it up, but yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I was I was looking at the YouTube comments, and then like a bunch of people like cross posted the video onto like different like Reddit pages. Like I think like there's like an STP Reddit page and people posted it, and there was like a grunge page, and like the same thing, like everybody like was super complimentary of the track. And then like one that I took personal offense to, someone was like, the mustache needs to go. I'm like, hell no, dude.
Yeah,
like, as a fellow card carrying member of the mustache group, like we got to keep that. We got to keep the stash going. They're back in. I know they're in. Like you got to let that thing fly. I love that.
No, I know. Everyone's always telling me to get rid of my mustache. I just feel like too little boyish without it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's a safety blanket. I just
exactly.
I just shaved my face. I needed something different, so I shaved everything. But yeah, you gotta have it sometimes. It's still safety.
Yeah.
That's great. I just put that Summer in my ears as I was playing, and you could hear the Green Day influence a ton. That's exactly what I was. So? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Like the final like bridge or final chorus and breakdown is just like really driving, really solid. It's a good one. I really like it.
You.
I mean, I think you have about what, like eight songs on Spotify right now. I think officially.
I took some down that I just didn't feel like fit where I was going, the direction I was going.
Yeah.
It didn't. I don't know. Like obviously, I have a song called "Yesterday." Doesn't sound like anything I'm doing now, but I still like the song. And I don't know. Honestly, if it didn't have such a cool cover art and a cool music video, I probably would have taken it down too. But I like it. You know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all part of the presentation. That's part of the project too. So, you know, there's definitely a lot to be proud of with those things. And, you know, there's obviously a lot of work that goes into just planning all of that. And like shooting a video, I would imagine, is not an easy thing to do. So it's cool that like, you know, how much attention you've paid to like all the different aspects of it.
Yeah.
You also did it in a week. You put it all together, which is awesome. The music video, right? You did that in a week, in the same week?
Yeah, that's
wild.
My girl, I was like, is there any way you could just like, because we obviously, like I said, we just had our son, and her mom is here, like helping us like get kind of like sorted with everything. And her mom watched our son for a little, and we just basically did it at the apartment and just made it look as cool as we could. Banged it out, and I'm very thankful for that.
That's sick.
Hell yeah, so, yeah. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah. So if you guys are listening, the Spotify is up. And like I said, the catalog, you can go through it all. And we have a lot of people asking for new artists and people to watch and keep an eye out for. Well, we got one right here. You know what I mean? Look no further. You get there early. You know, people like to be ahead of the wave. So this is exactly that. Noah Weiland's got a lot of stuff coming. And I'm really stoked that we were able to have you on and be able to talk about a lot of different stuff. I mean, we can definitely talk about more, and I don't know why you're always welcome on the podcast. You know, if you have another release, a couple months in the new year, come back on, we'll check in and whatnot. And, friend of the pod for life, right, Chris?
Yeah, man, that's the thing. Yeah. Once you're in, you're always in. And Noah, like I just wanted to, thanks for reaching out, and congratulations on, all of your success, and, on this new track. I can't wait to see like where it ends up and how people continue to relate to it. And super stoked, as Ethan said, to kind of see like what's coming next for you. Cause I really think like, you did the work to, hone in on an area that's really, really great for you, and great for the listeners as well, and the fans. And, I have to imagine that, the number of fans and listeners is going to continue to grow, and, it's definitely well earned and deserved.
Thank you, dude. No, I'm really stoked. I honestly am. Like this is like, I feel like it's like my livelihood now. You know what I mean? Especially having a son. Like I just got to go all out. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So
doesn't it feel like everything is right? Everything is right there in front of you, and you get to like run after it, and that's like one of the best feelings. Does. Yeah, it's so cool. No. Is there anything else that I have? Like one more question for you, but is there anything else you want to say before we officially stop the podcast? Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to say to the listeners? You could say no too.
Expect once I feel like Limbo starts just picking up more and more people find out about it. Definitely expect more with that sound for sure. Shout out Grunge Bible. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Seriously.
My pleasure.
That's about it though. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, man. I'm really grateful. We're looking forward to support you. We love having new artists on and being able to talk about it. And that's something that our page, like our followers, they do a good job of listening and taking the time to check people out. So I'm excited to share this, and they do a really good job of support. But I have 3 questions for you, and it was this or that. And I had a bunch of bands lined up, but all right. So Creed or Nickelback? Which one?
So the funny thing is,
it's your favorite artist. Spotify Rap number 1.
Nickelback, because I just don't know Creed enough. I'm gonna be honest, and not because I have anything against Creed. I just know literally more Nickelback than Creed. That's all.
Yeah, man. Nickelback was my first CD when I was a kid. That was the first one that I asked for, and I got the one with All the Right Reasons with like Photograph and Rockstar on it. So I'm right there with you, Noah.
I think Dark Horse by Nickelback was like the first radio hit that I remember. Like hearing
I remember that came out like 09 or 2010 or somewhere around then. Yeah, man. Good time.
Definitely to listen to that. All right. Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo?
Taylor Swift.
Oh.
Taylor Swift.
All right.
Yeah, but Olivia. Okay, but I will double down real quick and say that Olivia Rodrigo is like doing a good job of bringing like their youth like to getting their attention on what's like rock for them. Not putting this in a bad way, but like rock for like the youth nowadays is very, very poppy, of course.
Yeah.
I think she's like definitely putting on, in a way, like the same way that like people hate on MGK for not like for being super poppy, like poppy rock or whatever. But like let's be real. Like, I'm going to be honest, like he, even in a way, in a small way, like got me back interested into like somewhat of rock music when I was like super rap and pop only. So yeah.
There is definitely a really nice bridge between rap and rock right now in the music world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're in a good spot. And last one, Justin Bieber or Post Malone?
That's a hard one, but I'm gonna have to go Bieber because my first concert ever that I did, I dressed up in the white and purple Bieber outfit.
Oh yeah.
And the OG Bieber look.
Timeless,
and I had like my hair flip, and I was like doing dances on stage at this church like what was it? Talent show. There was a church talent show, and I dressed up as Bieber, and me and my friend did Never Say Never. So I gotta go Bieber.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Never forget your roots. The church hall wasn't ready for the Biebs to come on.
They weren't.
We'll be telling our kids just how big Justin Bieber was in the moment. He had to be there.
No, really.
That's awesome.
It's true. But Post Malone, I feel like I listen to more now. That's what I'll add though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Postie's the man.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good. Awesome, man. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Noah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
yeah,
Chris.
thank you so much, Noah, for coming on. This was super fun. Super pumped to share your music, and everyone listening out there, make sure you go and check out everything that Noah's got out for us and everything that's coming down the lane. Make sure him. We got all the links and shit in the show notes or whatever. So go spam those links, hit them up. And let's all become fans of a great artist right here. So Noah Weiland, thank you so much again for coming on. Really appreciate you, man. You're the best.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys are. Much love.
What a great conversation that was, Ethan. Want to thank Noah again for coming on the podcast and for being so open and for really just being down to have a really, really good conversation. A lot of good music coming up from him. Limbo, I would say, is just the start of it. Really, really pumped that we were able to have him on and talk about the track and just everything about Noah. So thanks again for coming on. Ethan, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It really, I'm so thankful that I could come right after the episode we last did and we were able to talk to him this week. It was a lot of fun, and there were so many different ways that conversation could have went. I think it went perfect, and I hope to have him back on in the next year at some point, have a check in and see how he's doing, see how the music's doing, and just watch his career and watch him grow. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're still listening, we want to thank you for tuning in, for your support. We hope that you do pass over all of that support over to Noah and everything that he has planned for us. And as we close down today, I believe in lieu of songs of the week, we are going to play out Noah Weiland's newest song called Limbo. And I think the only thing left to do is just press play, right?
That's right. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy.
I know you're somewhere out there, stuck in limbo. Just another nightmare, sending signals. Stuck in limbo, sending signals. Never really did I ever think I'd see the day you leave, losing count of days, trying to figure out this pain. Every sky's gray and the days are not the same, and I hate it without you here. I can hear you near. I know you're somewhere out there, stuck in limbo. Just another nightmare, sending signals. Stuck in limbo, sending signals. Yeah, it's time to go. Slave, carry on. turn. Like I'm waiting, waiting, waiting for your return. I know you're somewhere out there, stuck in limbo. Just another nightmare, sending signals. Stuck in limbo, sending signals. I know you're somewhere out there, stuck in limbo. Just another nightmare, sending signals. Stuck in limbo.